just to pick up the pace a little bit, right? So with that, now if I can have Eli. Eli's been practicing his Hindi too. So, Eli, over to you.
Thank you, Varun, and thank you to the whole Maheshwari family. I'm going to sit down. I like Rankin with the whole sitting thing. That was nice.
You're showing your leg.
That's okay. By the way, I wasn't told I would be following Beyonce's future backup dancers. It's a little bit unfair. So, hello. My name is Elijah, and I have the honor tonight of sharing a little bit with you about the Seattle chapter of Lee Wilmer's life. So, for anyone unfamiliar with America's geography, Seattle is a tiny fishing village in the remote northwestern wilderness, where it rains approximately 400 days a year, and something like 70% of the population are middle-aged men who work for large software companies. So it's almost kind of poetic in a way that the slideshow here tonight is running on Microsoft PowerPoint software, because Lee and I first met at that very company about 15 years ago. And I remember there was actually a period of time where everyone kept telling us that Lee and I looked like twin brothers. Well, listen, Lee, I know that back then this was always a source of great confidence for you. We're kids who all of a sudden had jobs, and we were trying very hard to act like adults, at least between the hours of 9 to 5, or in Lee's case, from 9 until 2 o'clock in the morning. You see, Lee was pretty much the single hardest working person that I'd ever met in my entire life. This guy always gave 110%. But he also gave 110% in his personal life, which included, but was not limited to, Halloween costumes and parties. You'll notice a picture somewhere in this slideshow of Lee with his face completely covered in cake frosting. Well, that was at my apartment, where he spontaneously decided that what the party really needed was a food fight. So, like a caged baboon, he proceeded to throw cake all over my entire apartment. And the thing is, like, I was laughing so hard when it happened that I didn't even mind. I mean, it wasn't until the next morning when I had to spend 4 hours scrubbing the floors and the walls before my roommate got home that it actually became a problem. So over the years, I've always admired Lee's ability to keep moving forward in life and not get stuck. He never burdens those around him. He's a strong person, but more importantly, he's a good one. And he was a central pillar for a really good group of friends in Seattle, many of whom are here tonight in India. We have Tom from St. Louis, Peter from Singapore, Seth from New York. And back then, we even had a name for our little clique. We called ourselves MS Dude. Because number one, we all worked for Microsoft, but number two, none of us knew any girls. Our friendships were forged in the fires of spreadsheets and office politics, long-winded emails, and company sports leagues. I would just like to now quickly paint a picture for you. So Lee is obviously an adventurous guy, and you wonder where he gets all this boundless energy from. Well, the second side of Lee in Seattle was hungry Lee. Yeah. You see, in Seattle, we would always end up with this divey pizza joint after a night out on the town, and Lee would devour his food at breathtaking speeds and breathtaking portions. So we nicknamed him the Velociraptor. But listen to me now. This Velociraptor had a hunger in life for more than just pizza. This brings me to the final side of Lee in Seattle. Lonely Lee. I would be derelict in my duties to gloss over this part, because it sets the stage for the better days to come. Around 2006, our group of friends had begun scattering like so many leaves in the wind. Tom was in St. Louis, Peter was in business school, Seth and I were in New York. So Lee was left to spend most of his days working until 2 o'clock in the morning, as usual, studying for the GMAT exam, applying to business schools, and lamenting and fretting over how impossible it was in Seattle to meet a girl who was single, cool, beautiful, hardworking, funny, interesting, passionate, well-traveled, and single. So when it came time to make a choice about business schools, he had a gut feeling about one Midwestern city in particular, and I think that we know where the story goes from here. Before I finish, I'm almost done here. Lee, I want you to join me up here for just 1 second. Come here. I want to say a few words. I know what I'm doing. Yade apne, viva et jivan ko, suki dekna chaten da o bate yad rakye. Number 8. Jabi ap galato, apne galati chupchap se monle. On number 2. Jabiap sai o to kripia chup rae. Do you agree? You've just agreed that the woman is always right. With that, I would just like to congratulate you guys, Lee and Madhvi. Thank you. Cheers.
Bye, Madhvi and Lee.